Hi and a very good day. So in this video session, I will discuss the exercise 2 for function and looping exercise. Right? Okay, so for this exercise, okay, I ask you guys to develop one hour programming function name coefficient. Okay, so the thing that I want you to create is actually what we call it as user defined function. Okay, so you create a new function, okay, based on whatever things that you want. Okay, whatever the thing that you want. Okay, but make sure that your function works in R. Okay, so how to do it? Okay, first of all, I like to thank all of you who already try this exercise. For those who still not doing it, I hope that you can do it before you watch this video. Alright, try it first. Okay, for those who already try, okay, this is actually my answer suggestion. Okay, it's actually there's actually quite a way to write this exercise as long as you get the output. Okay, so let's take a look at this exercise. Alright, so here we have three formula actually. Okay, how to find mean, how to find standard deviation, and what are the formula for coefficient of variation. Okay, so here I note that actually to find the mean and standard deviation, we already have a built-in function, okay, such as mean and xd. But for the purpose of exercise, I hope that you don't use this built-in function to create this coefficient function. Okay, what are the meaning behind it? Alright, so let's take a look at the first part of our exercise. Okay, so here the input is x as a data set. Right, so when you is there any data set? Okay, like I mentioned before, you can create your own data set. Okay, maybe your own data set. Okay, C here, right? Make sure that you understand the C function here is when we have several element and we want to combine this element in a vector. So you have to use C. If the value is only one element, okay, you don't need this C function, right? Or maybe you just want an X. It is actually okay. Okay, as long as I mentioned before this, I just create. Okay, alright, or you want an X. Alright, so this is basically our input. Okay, we want to calculate the coefficient of variation for this particular vector. Right, and let's take a look at the first formula. Okay, the first formula is summation of x over n. Okay, so for this example, okay, so the formula is, okay, summation of xi over n. Alright, where I is up to it depends, because this is actually the formula. If our x have 7 element, so they will calculate. So how do we look at this formula based on our vector here? Suppose that I use this x as example. Okay, 4 5 8 9. Alright, so let's go for this example. Right, so now our vector is, okay, C 4 5 8 9. Alright, so this summation of x is actually 4 plus 5 plus 8 plus 9. Alright, because we do the summation of all element that have in x. Okay, in vector, okay, this particular value is actually, okay, this 4 is x at 1. Okay, this 5 is x 2. Okay, this is actually x3. Okay, and this is actually x4, and so on. Right? So when we write a program, it is actually, okay, x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus x4. Okay, this is what we call it as indexing the first element, indexing the second element. Okay, if you want to confirm the operator, okay, suppose that I want x2. Okay, so it will give you 5 because the second element of your x is 5. Right? So now here, because I mentioned that we can use for function here. Okay, the for function, it means that for function, because of what? Because we want to do it according to how many x in the vector. Alright, so the thing is, what we do is, what we do is actually, okay, 4, and then 4 plus 5, and then 4 plus 5 plus 8, and then 4 plus 5 plus 8 plus 9. So this is okay, I1, this is I2, and then this is I3, and then this is I4. Okay, so okay, for this particular formula, we will use for statement. So since that we use I in. Okay, I in. How many times we have to perform this? 4 times to make this summation formula to work. So I in 1. Okay, we start at 1. Okay, until, okay, suppose that if you use n here, okay, if you n here, you have to define the n equals to how many length in our vector. Suppose that now our length is 4, so it's equals to 4. Right? This is the way on how you see how to program this summation formula. Right? So as we can see here, okay, this is the first the initial, the first process 4, and then this 4 is the pass value, the pass operation, and this is the pass, and then this is the, alright, and that's why when we try to create for function by for statement for summation of x, what we do, alright, you can use as, alright, so sum of, as example, sum of x equals to sum of x, okay, plus xi. Okay, meaning here is, alright, meaning here is actually the sum is, okay, the sum before, sorry, I write here, okay, sum of x equals to sum of x plus xi. Alright, so when I is 1, okay, I is 1, the sum is, okay, you need the initial value here. Okay, when x equals to 1, it is actually, okay, so initial value for value here is, suppose that, okay, the value is 4, so the initial value is 0. Alright, so you will get 4, and then you continue. Okay, this is this is I equals to 1. When I equals to 2, it means that, okay, it means that it will update the summation value here. Okay, it will update, and then the sum x now is 4, because it will take the value of our before our past operation, and then plus xi. The x2 is 5, and then it get 9, and then it continue up until length x. Okay, that's why when we do when we program the the mean of x, the summation of x, we will use this formula, sum x plus xi, right? So how do we write in R? Okay, because now we try to create a user defined function min x, and then function of how many input that we need, 1, so x, and then don't forget curly braces. Okay, so here suppose that so as we can see here, the formula is we'll use for I in suppose that you want to use n. So when you use n here, you have to define the n first. The value of our x, or you just straight away put length here. Is it okay? Don't forget the curly braces again. Now the formula sum of x equals to if you want to use equal, is it okay? Just a matter of formula, right? I prefer to use this. Sum of x plus xi. Based on our definition before this, sum of xi. But for loop statement to work, you need an initial value. This initial value is like a key to make sure that our control structure works. So for these cases, our sum of x is the initial value is 0. Right, and then the formula for min x is sum of x over n. Because we already defined the n here as length x. And then what are the result that we want? We actually want min x. Alright, so this is what we call it as a user defined function. Because we create this function using our own coding. So let's take a look at the answer. Is it correct or not? We already have a vector of x, and now we try to create a user defined function which is min x. Let's take a look at whether is it correct or not. Min underscore x. You put your function name here, min x, and then you just run. You get 6.5. What if we use a built-in function? This built-in function for min is min x, right? So remember, when you create a user defined function, avoid using the name the same as a built-in function. When you create a user defined function, avoid using the same name as a built-in function, or otherwise you will confuse, right? So min x. Now you run. You get the same value. It means that your user defined function is correct. So now when you have this kind of user defined function, as we can see here, now I give a vector name dataset. Even you can replace x with dataset. So it is actually doable. That's why we try with a built-in function min dataset, we get the same function. the same value. Okay, so this is what we call it as user defined function. Okay, this is basically when you try to write mean. Okay, and you can try to write okay, to gauge whether you understand or not. Okay, you can try to write the standard deviation. Okay, and I think uh, okay, if you need some helps to define the standard deviation, I will put another video for it, right? But basically this is the thing that I want to comment for your past exercise. Alright, okay, so I think that's all for this part. If you need more explanation, just ask for it. Okay, so I think that's all. Thank you.